Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing my stock picks for January 25th through the 29th. Just to reiterate, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only, and you should always do your own research before investing in a stock. So other than that, guys, let's dive right into it. So a recap of January 18th through the 22nd. Remember that we were closed on Monday, and we had a shorter week, Tuesday through Friday, of trading in the markets. My picks for this week were CLNE and NIO. Continued holds were SRPT. If you hadn't already taken profits from the previous week and that initial spike, I recommended holding because I thought that it was going to get back into the 90s, maybe 100s, and it actually did hit, I believe, $103. So that would have been actually a better take profit mark for any of you who did get in and hold to that stock. My dip buys were GNOG and ZNOG, which any of you guys who follow this channel based on those particular stocks, I'm hoping to make some updated videos for you this upcoming week, so keep an eye out for those. And then I talked about new entries were GHIV, which is now a new ticker symbol because the merger did get pushed through. And I made a separate video on GVO after the stock pick video, and we'll talk about all of those before moving into our new ones. Okay, so CLNE, if you would have got into this stock on Tuesday, you could have bought it for under 10 bucks at about 9.89, 9.90, and then it ran up all the way to 11.03 on Wednesday before dipping back down and basically trading sideways throughout the week. Okay, so you could have made a quick 10 to 11% from Tuesday to Wednesday. So should you buy, hold, or sell? Well, that is kind of all dependent on your personal preference. If you can be patient with this stock, then I see it going over, $13, $14 fairly soon. I don't know if it'll happen this week or it'll take a little bit longer, but I can see it, making another leg up and busting through that resistance. So this is actually one of my picks for the week. So we're not going to break the charts down until later in the video. So my personal preference on it. I'm going to just hold on to it until I get the initial pop that I want from it. Okay, so we also talked about NEO, ticker symbol NIO. It was a pretty choppy week. This week we had discussed getting into it somewhere in the 50s because it did get downgraded and it did dip below and it got into about the mid to low 50s. So you could have gotten into that stock and rode it back up because it did begin to have, some upward momentum come Friday. So should you buy, hold, or sell? Well, let's look at the charts and see what it's telling us. Okay, guys, so let's look at NIO. So if you see here, we had that sell-off. We, traded sideways, up and down. It was just kind of choppy, up, down, up, down. Got as low as $55 and some change. So on Friday, it ran up all the way to 62 and some change. So if you were in this stock and you did get it in the 50s and you're in it for the short-term swing to make a quick flip on your money, then Monday morning might not be a bad time to take some profits off the table, and especially if it does continuously start, running up in the pre-market. So if it runs up in the pre-market, if you look down here in the RSI, that means it's going to be in overbought territory, which means that you can potentially see a pullback afterwards. So if it runs up to like the $63, $64 mark, if it were me, I'd go ahead and take profits off the table. And then once it pulls back, if you do want to get into it again, wait for that pullback. You can get it again and ride the wave up. Again, this one only has a $68 price target based on that article that came out a couple weeks ago. Doesn't mean that that can't change and be upgraded next week, or it could even bust through that $68 price target. So it's one to keep an eye on. And, because there's other people who have talked about this thing maybe going to $100. So if you're in it, you kind of make that decision exactly what you want to do based on your personal preference. Okay, and we also talked about UWMC, which was actually GHIV last week until the merger happened. So now their new ticker symbol is UWMC. The merger has been approved, and then we had more of a sell-off to where now it's trading in somewhere in the mid to upper $11. I personally did not get into this stock. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't see the initial pop off of the merger news like I expected. So I just kind of stayed back on the sidelines to watch this one going into next week. And the more I think about it, this was just basically a hype play for me, and I don't think I'm going to touch it unless I do see, something on the charts telling me that we're about to, bust up for some upward momentum and head to maybe the 13, $14 level, which is very possible because, but pre-merger, that's basically how this stock traded. Is it would fall down to the 11s, would pop up to the 12 or 13s, fall down again, pop right back up. So that's a strong possibility leading into next week. But just kind of you'll have to make that decision on, if you want to, get in there and ride the wave up or not, because I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I don't know if it's going to be next week that we see that initial pop, or it may be a couple of weeks out, kind of like what GNOG did after the merger. Okay, so my picks for this week, guys, of January 25th to the 29th. CLNE is still on my list. I'm still holding that stock. And the reason it is on my picks for the week is because I do think that it still provides a good entry point for someone who has not gotten in yet. Um, Again, I see this one maybe going to the $13, $14 range fairly soon. So if you haven't gotten in yet, Monday morning, we'll look at the charts here in a second too and give you the key support and resistance levels. But I think that, Monday can provide a decent opportunity for you to get in. Next one is uh, TELL. This is Telluride, which is a gas and oil company, but also has a strong emphasis on liquefied natural gas (LNG). They have, which actually LNG is pretty big in China, Bangladesh, and other places. And Telluride has a big project that's supposed to be happening come summer of 2021. So this is one to maybe write up this week because they do have a lot of buzz now happening online and on YouTube. There's a lot of people talking about them. So when that happens, similar to what happened with Givo last week, you usually see a pretty big run up in the price, at least for the short term, before it does correct and trade at the appropriate level. So CLNE, the same thing, is you have a lot more attention now on this particular stock online. It's also a recommended stock on the Motley Fool website, which they've actually been recommended since they were back like in the $1.50 to $2 range. So that's a good thing. And also UVXY. We hit all-time highs again last week. I do still think that we're due for a correction in the market, and this might be the appropriate week to see that. So let's go ahead and break down the charts and see exactly what they're telling us for each of these particular stocks. Okay, so this is CLNE. I want to show you first off kind of the pattern that I see on this particular stock. So usually when it trades sideways, and you can see here it traded sideways for quite some time, and then eventually had its first leg up, traded sideways, another leg up, and you can see the consistent pattern in how it trades, right? So sideways for a while, then leg up, and right now we're in a sideways pattern. Okay, and keep in mind again, this stock here, it it sort of trades a little slower than some of the other ones that you may want to see, but it is pretty consistent. All right. So if we look here, the key resistance is 1188. If we can bust through there and hold there, then we have some good upward momentum. I think to the $13 to $14 range. Our support level is 950. So if we do see some downward movement here, as long as it bounces off that 950, that's a healthy sign. As you see here, it did for the past week or so. It's been bouncing off of there and moving forward. So I'm hoping that we can see some upward momentum and bust through that key resistance level. Next one up is Telluride, ticker symbol TELL. And we see here that we've had a lot of momentum here the past couple of weeks. So I want you to be cautious on this one if you are going to get in, and reason being because we are at the basically the peak of the fib level. We hit all-time highs based on this particular time period of the last 180 days of 354. But just I believe a year and a half ago, this thing was trading at I think close to $20 a share. So and it's been in a downtrend ever since. And now we're seeing some upward momentum. So you could see this thing move up and hit $5, $6, $7 fairly soon if this keeps up. But just keep in mind we are in overbought territory already. So if this happens to start moving more in the pre-market tomorrow morning, I can see a pullback coming. Okay, and you could always get in at a cheaper price. So our key resistance obviously is 354. All right, so if it busts through 354 and we have a pullback, then if it bounces off that 354 support, then that might be a good entry for you. If we pull back and we get below that 354, then your support here is going to be 266, which means, okay, that we have some room to go down on a sell-off, but as long as it bounces off that 266, then that shows a healthy sign of momentum moving forward. So this one here, anywhere in the mid threes, mid to lower threes, I think would be a good buy. And then for me, maybe ride it up to like the $5 or $6 mark to take profits. All right, next up, UVXY, and this is the volatility stock that basically trades against the S&P 500. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, you're probably like, well, why are you getting in this? It's a downtrend. It's steadily a downtrend. Well, that's because this stock basically all it does is steadily decay over time and just has these occasional spikes in upward momentum based on market corrections. Okay, so right now we are at one of the lowest points in the past year. We're around the $10 mark. Okay, we're at the absolute lowest bottom at the fib level, and vice versa for the S&P 500. We are at basically all-time highs. So what I'm thinking is we're due for a pullback on the S&P 500. And when that does happen, if you get in somewhere around this $10 mark, you have a lot of room to run before you hit a key resistance level here, which would be around the $23 mark. So let's look at the S&P 500. That way you can kind of get an idea of why I'm saying that this stock may have some upside, at least for a day or two this week. So this is the S&P 500 chart. As you can see, guys, basically this is in an uptrend, and then whenever we have these corrections, this is whenever you see on UVXY that they actually have their spike in upward momentum. Okay, so right now we did hit all-time highs again, and I see that we do have a red doji candle, which usually signals that we have potential from changing directions, at least for a short-term period. Okay, so it's something to keep an eye on and see how the market reacts on Monday, because on Monday, we could easily just bust through this all-time high and continuously go higher, which would make me more prone to possibly taking a position on UVXY, because we are due again for some type of correction or pullback in the market. And in my opinion, if I do see upward momentum on Monday and Tuesday and even coming into Wednesday, then I think Wednesday would be the time I take my position on UVXY and then see how the market reacts on Thursday, maybe even Friday, and then get out of that stock and take profits. So that's all I have for you today, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have found any value in today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you like our content, hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can let you know whenever we do release new content just like this one. Comment below, tell me what you'd like to see on the channel. Let me know what you'll be buying this week, what you'll be selling. And also, again, my GNOG and ZNOG people, just keep an eye out for new videos to come this upcoming week. So other than that, guys, we'll see you in the next video.